Yo guys, what's up? Today we will be learning Linux. As you can see, we have 6 chapters. We're gonna learn them all. Okay, let's get started. Learn Linux. Never fear a Linux terminal again. Learn how to use the command line to navigate a Unix-like file system and automate developer tasks.
Welcome to Learn Linux. Admittedly, the course name is a bit of a misnomer. It's called Learn Linux because Linux is what most students think of regarding the concepts in this course. A more accurate title might be Learn to use shells and terminals in a Unix-like environment, but that's a mouthful. Learning goals. Understand the difference between a shell and a terminal. Learn how to navigate and use the file system using the command line. Learn how to install software using the command line. Understand how to manage your path and environment variables. Learn how to manage permissions and execute programs.
Yeah guys, every developer needs to know how to use the terminal and command line. I even have worked with a senior front-end developer in an agency, in service agency. In the first day, he asked me to create a new folder and name it work. So what I've done is right-click, new folder, name it work, and yeah, I'm done. But he started mocking me and showed me how to do it with the command line. That moment I knew I have to be more professional, and it's lovely to flex your skills in front of normies, like, oh, I can do stuff with command line. I bet you can't. Ha ha ha.
This course will get you comfortable working on a command line, which is a skill that's going to be critical for the rest of your career as a programmer. So, instead of writing code in the browser, in this course you'll interact with a command line interface, CLI, directly on your machine. Assignment. Find and open a terminal on your computer. See below for instructions. Type the following command and press enter. Echo, hello world. When you're done, answer the question. How to open a terminal on Mac. Open the Terminal application. You can find it by searching for Terminal in Spotlight, the magnifying glass in the top right corner of your screen. How to open a terminal on Windows. Open the Command Prompt application. You can find it by searching for Command Prompt in the Start menu. How to open a terminal on Chromebook, Chrome OS. Enable the Linux development environment by going to Settings, Advanced, Developers, Linux development environment. Once installed, open the terminal application from your app launcher. How to open a terminal on Linux. If you're on Linux, I refuse to believe that you don't already know how.
Okay. If you are in Linux, try Ctrl-Alt-T if you don't know how to. So yeah, the task is find and open a terminal on your computer. Type the following command and press enter. Echo hello world. Okay. So hello hello world. Okay, great. Okay, let's answer the question. What happened when you press enter? The text hello world printed to the terminal console. An error message printed. Absolutely nothing. Obviously, guys, we had hello world. So, okay, correct. Let's go.
Let's go. Command line versus GUI. In other boot dev courses, you may have run your code by clicking a run button, but as a real developer, you'll likely run your code using a command line interface, CLI, instead. For example, in Python, you would run a Python code file like this, python main.py. What's a CLI? You'll often hear the terms terminal, shell, command line, CLI, and command prompt used interchangeably, despite some technical differences, to refer to the same thing, a program that allows you to interact with your computer in a text-based way. What's a GUI? If you don't have a technical background, you're probably used to interacting with your phone or computer using a graphical user interface. When you use a mouse to click on fancy icons, buttons, and menus, you're using a GUI.
The words terminal, shell, command line, CLI, and command prompt are often just thrown around haphazardly by programmers. And even though the precise definitions vary slightly, we're usually talking about a program that lets you interact with your machine through text. If you're new to the command line, you're already probably familiar with GUIs, or graphical user interfaces. And a GUI is just a fancy visual interface that lets you get stuff done on your computer. Think of a Windows desktop, for example. It has menus to sift through, icons to click on, and even complex window management systems. A CLI, or command line interface, is a much simpler alternative. Instead of using complex visual buttons and menus, you interact solely through text. Want to run a program? Don't click on an icon, just type the name of the program. Want to view a file? Don't open Microsoft Word, just type a command. Now, while GUIs do have a lower barrier to entry, that is, they're often self-explanatory to use, they're also pretty limited. A command line interface is more powerful because you're not limited to the buttons and widgets that are provided by application developers. Instead, you get direct access to the lower levels of your system. As a programmer, it's non-negotiable. You need to be comfortable on a command line.
By the way, guys, I introduced to you Boots. This is our little friend, Boots, the bear. Say hi. Yeah, let's continue.
To be fair, it's usually easier to teach people to use a GUI than a CLI. You can simply point to things and say click here or drag this there. But GUIs do have some drawbacks. They're weak. You are given much more control over your computer through a CLI. With a GUI, you're limited to the options that the developer of the GUI has given you. They're slow. Once you know the commands to type, it's much faster to type them than to click through endless menus with a mouse. They're not as reproducible. If you want to share a set of instructions, you can just copy and paste commands without worrying about screen sizes and user preferences. They're not automatable. It's easy to write code that manipulates text, as you've seen in Python, but it's much harder to write code that manipulates GUIs. They're not as cool. You will be invited to 90% fewer romantic outings if you are a GUI user.
Hey, you swear to God, put that on Allah, put that on Allah. Say wallahi, bro, say wallahi.
Assignment. In your terminal, run the following command, whoami. When you're done, answer the question.
Okay, let's type who am I? Who am I? Let's go. I guess whoami command shows you the user or username of the system. What happened when you run the command? The text a dum-dum was printed. Not directly, but yes, this could be true. The terminal crashed. Nah. My username was printed to the console. I got an email. The username was printed to the console. But this is valid. This is so much valid. Okay, installing Windows subsystem for Linux.
Installing Windows subsystem for Linux. You can skip this step if you're on macOS or Linux, or already have WSL2 configured. I know the course is called Learn Linux, but if you're on Mac, it's Unix-like enough for all the lessons in this course. The built-in Windows command prompt is terrible, in my opinion. It's so bad that if you're on Windows, we're just going to have you install WSL2, Windows Subsystem for Linux. This will allow you to keep using your normal Windows desktop, but also have a Linux command line, operating system, and file system for your programming work.
This is so true, guys. Thank you for being a great
That shit on my face.
command line environment. This is so much true. I hate Windows. I really do.
Programming work. WSL2 was a huge step forward for developers on Windows. You get a full Linux operating system and command line experience without the need to dual boot. WSL is an official Microsoft product. It won't mess up your base Windows install. You'll still be able to run Steam.
So guys, we can do the assignment, but I will leave some resources where you can install WSL2. I already do it like previously in my Windows. It was easy. I followed this assignment, by the way. It works fine. You can check YouTube. You can we are. You can check YouTube. You can follow this. I will give you the link. It should be easy. And it's free, by the way. Like these two chapters, all three, they are free. Yeah, guys, we are done for now. So see you next, guys. Bye bye.